not saying it's right. You know,
I'm
saying,
yeah, but
this is all you want.
Yeah,
you know that a man can
just. But if that's the case, then how far are you willing to go? Because if that's what you want, and he's saying, "Well, I want to have my wicked way with you,"
but
are you going to say,
"Well, maybe she thought she was strong enough to resist him"?
No. I think not they say. Right, he may say about wicked way, and she's like, "Well, no, you know, you're not." Blah blah. And he's like, "If I don't, it's over for you. You're not going anywhere."
The Weinstein
so you right, and that's what a lot of that was Weinstein
was saying. That.
Yeah, of course.
He was saying that. So, and why were the men saying it? Because they knew it's true.
Yeah.
That they can shut people's careers down just like that.
Welcome to A Woman's Word. This week, our topic is simply, why do men of power believe that they're invincible, untouchable? Okay, this may go off into several directions, but we've had a lot of high-profile cases in the media recently, and we thought we'd touch on this subject this week. So, the one that is currently in the media is all about Bill Cosby. If you've not been following up, there's been a trial in recent months, and he was recently found guilty of sexual assault. So it got us thinking about, why is it that we've had in the media in recent years so many men in power that seemingly just doing what they like. And, a lot of these scandals have been sexual scandals as well. So let's open it up to the girls. Angie, what are your thoughts on the whole...
Well, it's a culture, isn't it? I mean, talking about Bill Cosby specifically, obviously when I heard about, the rumours about him assaulting and
drugging
and raping a couple of years ago, obviously it was something I thought it's just propaganda and scaremongering, and they're just
trying to bring him down.
Women just trying, obviously, several women have come forward with several things. Through, I think about 60 women have come. However, he was only convicted through one of those women's specific case. I'm not saying all of them are, like lying, but I just think all 60, it's like I'm not sure about that. But I followed some of it, and I've listened to some of the pros and cons and so forth, and I think Bill Cosby, I do believe maybe at the time, 60s, 70s, it was a different culture. I'm not saying it's right at all, but that sort of thing went on. I think maybe a lot of women slept their way through the actual industry, and I'm not saying that if obviously he was convicted of this specific case, I don't condone that type of behaviour at all. But I do think some of the women were very naive as well. I don't understand. I mean, even the Andrea Constant woman, the one whose case he was convicted on, I didn't know that, he paid her over £3 million several years back. And they signed a confidentiality agreement.
No, I think they didn't, did they?
No.
Oh, they did. Okay,
which should have been signed and sealed, but for whatever reason, the court changed the law so they could open up that to make the depositions and make it be open, which that never happened before. Now, why did she take the money? To me, if somebody had assaulted me, or I would. It's more about bringing them to justice.
Yeah, but not everyone. Not all women are the same.
To me, though, if she made the choice though and took the money, then it's either she's made a choice. You've taken the money
and be quiet
and signed that agreement to shut up. So I'm just saying that.
You're just not sure.
I think you made a couple of important points there, Ange, and one of them is that you've got people with all different types of characters.
Yeah.
And the thing that makes these scandals, these sex scandals, so difficult to navigate through is the fact that some women were just after position. So they did sleep their way to any position. Yeah. But what that really did for the naive or the innocent women is it painted everyone with the same brush. So where there may have been someone that may have been naive, or they were just going about their everyday duty and not really thinking that when they're in alone with a particular man, they're not expecting anything sexual to happen. They're not expecting a sexual encounter. But where you have got other types of women that go there with that intention, it leaves the whole thing wide open.
But can I say, right, that even, I mean, these women, none of them were like 16, I don't believe. Yeah, they were at least 20 plus or whatever.
They weren't underage. Underage.
So I'm saying that, I don't know, if Eddie Murphy said to me, Cleo, you know, I'm really interested in you doing this role. You know, I'd like you to come and read some lines for me, right? And it's going to be in my hotel room. Yeah, not in the hotel lobby, in the hotel room. I'd be like, maybe I should bring a friend. At the very least. Yeah. You don't want to miss the opportunity, just in case, but you might think...
Yeah, but then he may say, you know, I don't want you, and then you might say, well, yeah, I will come. I'm going to bring a friend. He then says to you,
no. Oh, you don't tell him that you're going to bring a friend.
Oh, you're going to turn up with a friend.
There shouldn't be any objection in you bringing a friend.
Right. So when you turn up with a friend, and you get there, and he's like, well, no, you know, I don't want to put her off. It's just you and me. You're not going to go in.
Yeah, that is a good question. But what I'm saying is,
you be prepared.
A woman should be wary. You know, it's like certain places. It's like you'd think, well, why wouldn't we do it at a studio? Or maybe that's what you should be questioning when you're on the phone. If you said to me, "I'll come to my hotel room," you know, it's like I just think that you need to be wary. Or if a woman, even a young woman of 20 or whatever, even said, "Oh, let me bring an older person with me," whether it's her dad or a mum or a, you know, somebody of age that
kind of look out for.
Yeah, even if he said, "Oh, you know, I just need her to come into the room with me," he knows that your dad's outside or your mum's outside or your whoever. So if anything happens in that room, your daughter, whoever the person is to that person, is more likely to say, "Oh my God, he did whatever." And then that would have been two people that can say...
But some of these meetings were not necessarily, or they didn't start out in a hotel room. No. Because, and even in the deposition, I'm speaking about Bill Cosby, he did say that he would sometimes meet them in bars. And he admitted that he would put the drugs in their drinks with the intention of having sex with them. Now, not all of them knew that was his intention. I mean, I know we're all different. I know people are all different. But if you went out for a drink with someone, even to discuss business, you're not expecting them to put alcohol.
No, you're not expecting them to drink
anything in your drink.
Yes, I agree. But with the Andrea Constance case, which is the case he was convicted on, you know, she says that he gave her 3 blue pills and said swallow them.
Right. Yes.
Now. Someone someone gives me three pills. Give me 3 pills and says swallow them, and she asked them what type of pills are they, and he said they will make you feel good.
Relax.
Yeah. Now
feel good like how?
Exactly.
What's the matter with her?
Why am I going to swallow those pills?
Yeah.
They've got to take a certain amount of responsibility.
Yes,
now she's saying that, you know, she didn't know what those pills like. She'd never done drug before. However, the judge in the case refused to allow a witness who used to go out with her, a very close friend of the family, who was happy to go on trial to say that she was taking drugs. She used to take mushroom drugs, smoke marijuana, and all sorts beforehand. So he was just saying that she's not. She's acting like
Yeah.
she's
not
in charge.
guilty.
Exactly. But they refused.
And I think
say,
these Quaalude drugs were the drugs of that time.
Yeah.
You know, so if she was taking mushrooms and whatever it was, drugs that were taken at that time, that she might not have taken that before, but she would have known that it's a recreational drug.
Right.
Even though they said that Quaaludes are not blue.
Right.
You know, but she said that they were blue pills and so forth. But regardless,
but then why? It's right back to the original question. Why did he think that was fine to do that?
Yes.
This is the question.
But then you know what I think with all of it, right? I don't think it's all fine, right? But then I think that men generally are the ones that rule this world, yeah. And what I'm saying is that in that time, the things that women were experiencing, like if people were working in an office or whatever, and your boss might squeeze your bottom. I'm not saying it's right, but then I'm saying that.
Yeah.
They
felt like they couldn't. Yeah, they couldn't.
No, it's not that they couldn't. No. Some of them, I've heard discussions recently on the radio where women say, like, when men, like construction workers, whistle off. They were fine with that. Wolf whistling and, as you said, squeezing up. It was expected, and they didn't find anything wrong with it. Whereas like now, if we was at work and someone come, Nadia. I mean,
you'd be having none of that.
You'd be like,
no.
So I think it was a different time, and I think that you need to take that into consideration. And I mean, I would even go as far as saying that he should have been tried. Whatever a person who was convicted of sexual harassment in the 70s would have got for that sort of behaviour, then that's what he should have got now.
But I don't think you're tried like that, though, are you?
No,
you're not. It's not.
And the thing is, one of the things that a lot of people are saying is, well, why have they come forward now? But a lot of them did come forward back then.
Yes.
But they were not listened to.
Or hushed up or whatever.
Yeah.
And another thing, we're talking about back in the time, Weinstein.
Yeah.
All right, he was doing it for years, but it's not just back in those days. He's been doing
it now.
Still doing it now. Right, yeah.
But then has Bill Cosby got any present day? He hasn't got any present day.
It's all 60s and 70s stuff.
They're all older women.
No, 60s, 70s,
because
90s, I think somewhere. 90s?
No, it was 2004 or something. It was the most recent one, because remember, the ones that are in the 90s, what's it called? The
statute of limitations.
Yeah, had expired. So it had to be one in recent years. Now he's 80 odd now. And
that's why Andrew Constant's case.
Yes.
I think that when they charged him, it was a day that it would have expired. If they didn't charge him on that day, they wouldn't have been able to charge him.
And you look at the pictures of him now, he looks very feeble and whatever.
That's all. There's reasons for that. They show all that.
But if you see him as little as when was he gonna extend his show? 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Very healthy.
They show what they want to.
But as I said when I opened the question though, that it's something that in the male environment, those successful, powerful men, people like Jimmy Savile. We're going back to, it's so long ago, and I think it was like almost an unwritten rule that providing they had money, they could buy people's silence.
And that's what it is, though. Remember, their world is that these guys like Weinstein, Cosby.
Look at
everything. Right, Michael. Even if we're going to look at Michael Jackson, everything that is around them at the time, no one says that they can't do things. So when they want something, everyone's, oh yeah, we'll get that. We'll get that for you. So as far as they're concerned, why can't they do as they please?
Well,
because this is what they're used to doing.
I mean, Bill Cosby's agent at the time, like some of the women are saying that his agent was fully aware of what was going on.
Listen,
and she was told, and she didn't do anything. She's saying that she didn't know, what she would say that, I suppose. But as you said,
But they said even with Jimmy Savile, everyone in the BBC, they knew.
He had the key.
Yeah, but I think with Jimmy Savile, the only thing that's very different, right, with Jimmy Savile is that it was children.
Yeah,
You know,
of course.
and
Yeah, but
more
the
so-
question, he was rich and famous.
Yes.
So he.
But then I think you still got to be careful, because even when you put in Michael Jackson there, Michael Jackson didn't do nothing to nobody, you know. He ain't no
because
paedophile.
those boys have all grown up to say that
He
they,
didn't do anything.
the parents were forcing them to say those
So
things.
I think, you know, Michael Jackson, yes, he might have people around him, that whatever he wanted he could have, but I don't think we should kind of include him in the discussion.
Because he wasn't.
He wasn't. No, but it makes it kind of feel like
because he wasn't convicted.
No, he wasn't preying on anybody.
He wasn't convicted.
And
was
I
he?
said those boys have all grown up to say that he didn't do any of those things that their parents forced him to say because they wanted money. But the media isn't really putting that forward.
Very sad, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is with Bill Cosby, when I first started to look into it, I was just looking into it, like you said at the beginning, Angie. It was like, you know, the demise of a great man, you know, and it wasn't true. And especially like when these Cosby Show family was kind of sticking up for him, and you know, you see his wife by his side and whatever. I was kind of like thinking, you see, they just doing this to a black man, and you know, you heard so much, and it's the truth, how much good he's done and how much money he's donated, and you know, he's done a lot for black people and people in general, and I think, but when I looked into it more, I started to think, it actually looks like
There's
could
some
be-
truth
yeah,
in
there-
it.
there is.
Yeah.
But then I do think that it has to be put in perspective, and I do think, and don't get me wrong, it's like I'm a woman myself, and I think that
Really clear.
I think that it's not like I think because a woman's gone into that whole hotel room, she should expect that. Well, he can do what he wants with you. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, of course not.
Obviously, if anyone says no to something or doesn't give their consent, then you know they shouldn't be.
No.
Yeah. But I think that as a woman, you've got to protect yourself, because you know that there are people that prey on women out there and will take advantage of you. And physically, we are the weaker sex. So try not to put yourself in a position
Vulnerable
that
position.
makes you vulnerable.
And
You know.
some of those victims, he assaulted them the first time, and then they put themselves in that position again
Again,
to allow
and
him-
again,
and again,
and again.
and I don't understand that. That part I don't understand. You know?
But some of it I can't. Some of it I tried to understand. So, what was the woman with the big afro?
Lil Bernard.
Right, Bernard. Yeah. So she said, when I watched some of her documentary, she was saying that where she'd been drugged, I think the first couple of times she was like, when she came to, it wasn't clear what had happened.
Of course.
So I could understand that, but then even if I wasn't clear, no matter how much I want to be an actress, I'm not putting myself back in that
I
position.
couldn't speak to him again. I had to cut him off.
Yeah.
But before she was even drugged, she said the first situation that she was put in, they were sort of reciting the script. And he was saying to her something like, you need to relax or something, and he went behind her and he grabbed her breast.
She
said, you know, kind of
What you
started and
doing?
said, what you doing? And he said, what? I didn't do anything. And she
Yeah.
goes, you just grab my breast. And he said, no, I didn't. I would never do
Listen,
that to
yeah.
you. Now, anyone,
right? If you don't say a man grab, and she didn't say that he brushed past their breast,
Yeah.
you know,
behind
he grabbed
her,
him
from behind.
So once you know that, and he's trying to make you go mad, that's when you would have like thought,
Get yourself out of the situation.
But keep
Okay.
jumping there. Another thing that I did hear is that, remember, a lot of these women, these men were like, all right, so that scenario has happened. Now, so if they're working together, these men are saying sort of like, if you don't do this, if you don't, I'll bring you, your career is going nowhere.
Because
You've
of
got to
course.
think about
She
that.
wanted
You know
a
what I mean?
role within the Cosby Show, and he promised her, and she was still working towards that. But after he's grabbed me like that,
No, but that's what I'm saying. We as women, as us,
Yeah.
wouldn't do it. But there were some of these women that were like, you want to be an actress,
she
you'll
had-
do
yeah.
anything.
And she
you
did
know
say she
that
had
these men can.
invested so many years already.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's right, you know,
I
but I'm
know,
saying,
I know.
Yeah, but
if
then-
this is all
but-
you want,
yeah,
you
but
know
that's-
that a man
but
can
okay,
just...
fine.
But
you
if
know.
that's the case,
someone will
then
think of
how
me every
far
time.
are you willing to go? Because if that's what you want, and he's saying, well, I want to have my wicked way with you,
But
Are you going to say,
just
well, yes,
maybe
because
she
that's
thought
what-
she was strong enough to resist him. That
No,
could
no,
have
no.
happened.
I think not they say right. He might say something about wicked way, and she's like, well, no, you know, you're not, blah blah. And he's like, if I don't, it's over for you. You're not going anywhere.
The wine
So you
cases,
got right, and that's what a lot of that
cases,
wine
they
was
were
saying.
saying that.
Yeah, of course,
He was
yeah.
saying that.
Their
So,
careers.
and why were the men saying it? Because they knew it's true.
Yeah.
That they can shut people's careers down just like that.
And also, I think that one thing as well that is worth highlighting is that I think for a younger woman with them being, I don't know, if she was 20 at the time, maybe they were in their 40s or mid 40s.
Yeah, they're much
It's-
older.
And
Yeah.
more
It's
intimidating.
intimidating, yeah.
Because what I do think, especially like with that wine scene, he looks like he can get wicked.
Yeah.
Yes,
If
yes,
he
yes.
gets, you know,
I mean, yeah, I'm
you've
sure he
got
would.
to,
Yeah.
if you see that you're in that situation, it's not just a matter of like, no, and I'm going, because he looked like he's one that would,
Yeah.
you know,
Just,
get wicked on you.
And, you know, we're saying, oh, why did they go back again? But not all of them did.
Yeah, that's true.
Some of
That's
them,
true.
because it was...
Bernard.
I mean, we
Bernard
heard about 60, and it was reported up to 100. We don't know the numbers, but there were quite a few that it only happened to once,
Yeah,
and
I
they
know,
went to the
I know.
police, and the police didn't listen.
Yeah.
You know, so
I know.
that
It's
is
true.
the frustrating thing.
Because he was Bill
When we
Cosby.
think
Because
that-
it's who they are.
Yeah, that whoever they were,
Yeah.
that the police themselves turn a
Yeah, but
blind
then
eye.
the thing is now though, right, Nordy, if you went to the police with, I don't know, some famous
Allegation.
person, yeah, even if the police were thinking, yeah, right,
Yeah,
they know that they have
got
to
a
do
duty.
something about it.
Yeah.
And back then,
They
it's
didn't.
like they didn't have to.
They didn't.
So again, it's just like how they're trying Bill Cosby. Those police officers should be accountable. They should
Yeah,
trace
it's
back.
true,
Who
true,
did you
true.
report it to?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. You're
You
right.
know?
Jimmy Savile was the same though. People reported that. For,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
they just
that was terrible.
ignored it.
You know, as a matter of
Quite
fact,
the
with the
power
Jimmy
thing.
Savile, I heard he used to request.
Yeah,
He used
yeah,
to
yeah.
request that he can, you know, he wants how much children or how much
that's
boys.
right.
And
And that's what I'm saying,
And
that
you
how
go
many
to the
children
home.
thing.
Yeah.
The hospital,
And
the
people-
Vanderbilt.
yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Disgusting.
you know, when you think about it logically, he's got no medical background. Why
Yeah.
would he have a key?
But not even that. All the people that were, as you said, that knew about
Aware
that,
of
had to
it.
have
Yeah.
known about it.
Yeah,
They
they
had to
should have
be
been held
accountable.
accountable
They
as
should
well.
be. They should
You
be.
know, because
think they should be.
It's horrific to think what those children went through.
Of course.
And the fact that they're all talking about Jimmy Savile. There were ministers, there were people in
Oh, Jesus.
government, there were people,
Priests and yep.
yeah, and
Powerful.
don't even talk about the priests.
Yeah, Catholic
The
Church.
priest, I think the Catholic Church coming like it's worse than everywhere else.
But it's a power thing. It's back to the original
It's,
question. It's
yeah,
a
it's back to the power.
Yeah, but then also with the power though, I do think, and I'm not saying that Bill Cosby should get away with what he did, but it's like we're never playing on a level playing field. As in, I'm talking about from black to white people. You know, Weinstein or Stein.
Whatever his name is.
He still hasn't been
Yeah,
officially
yeah.
charged. Nothing seems to be moving with him. All these famous women have come out, and nothing seems to be happening.
I think he went into rehab at the last thing. I know it was the
Yes.
You know, so it's like you just think, why is he being
what's going on
treated
differently?
with kid gloves and Bill Cosby? They've come down and
Well,
then
hopefully, when they come for him, they get him. That's all we can hope.
But you could say with the current Brett Kavanaugh, the court
Senator,
the
right?
senator who wants to be the highest court judge over in America. I mean, the allegations against him, they've voted not to investigate any further. Now, why shouldn't they investigate? Just like how when these women are coming out of the woodwork regarding Bill Cosby, and they decided to investigate and so forth. Why is
So
he
what
any different?
grounds?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
under
right.
what grounds
Still
do they say?
investigate.
And that's
that they're
slightly
not
different with
investigating
him because
further?
he wasn't. He was the teenager at the time, so
And?
he no. But I'm saying what we're talking about with power. So we were saying like powerful men.
Yeah, but
famous
he's
men.
got to a high level now.
Now, so maybe he's trying to use his power
So,
now.
Yeah, he's
Do you
at
see
a
what I
high
mean?
level.
So
he's at a high
I think
level
that's what
power
it is.
now.
But he was a teenager. at the time.
what did he do exactly? Was it a rape or a sexual assault? What was it?
Sexual assault.
sexual assault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
but
It's like
they
he
said
tried
some.
to rape
Oh.
this woman who's now
She's a doctor now,
a
yeah.
psychologist.
I can't remember
But
her name.
again, it's like, you know, why, even though he did that then, and as they say, you can change. He was a young man then,
teenager, yeah.
But then it's like, why should he even be given the position that he can judge other people when he's been like that? When your son, who's done something similar, let's say, and he's got to come before him for him to decide his fate. He shouldn't be able to do it because I don't think he's going to sympathise. He's going to come down on him like he's all high and mighty.
Because it's a power thing. It's back to power.
Yeah.
Men have the power, unfortunately. So, you know, I don't know why. No, I do know why. I think I know why. It's because they're used to having the power and everyone agreeing to them, which is why they think they can get... That's all I can think of. That's why they think they can get away with these things.